this is the first of a kind cooking series we wanted to do for a long time, which is hormone friendly and PCOS friendly. And Priyasha and I have known each other for quite a bit now because herself and I share a bit of similar experience in dealing with our PCOS. Like I started this community. She also started her brand called the Cinnamon Kitchen India. And if you guys have been following me, I've been loving her nut butters, her breads, her bliss balls, and I've been sharing it on my stories. So, without any further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Priyasha. But just a quick disclaimer: we are not going to, propagate any brands here. It's just plain, simple cooking. If you're dealing with hormonal imbalance and you're craving for some sugar, but what are the other alternatives and what we can bake? That's one. And second is it's more about balancing your meals, which Priyasha will tell us how to balance the meals, how to choose your ingredients wisely from your own Indian kitchen. So, Priyasha, all over to you. Please quickly introduce yourself and we'll be into the recipe.
Sure, thanks a lot, Nidhi. So Nidhi and I, as she said, have been working together for a very long time. She comes from a place where she's taught a lot of people how to, live with PCOS and change their lifestyle and improve things. And for me, my journey was more about developing a healthy relationship with food, because of which Cinnamon Kitchen came into being. So I was raised in a proper Punjabi household. We ate a lot of dairy, a lot of non-veg growing up, and I think at the age of about 14 or something, I started realizing that I'm having these hormonal issues and my periods are not regular, and I went to a doctor for this. And the doctor immediately prescribed me like a bunch of pills, and I wasn't even like obese, severely overweight, but they did like a bunch of blood tests and they were like, your thyroid is high, your glycemic, like your glucose levels are high, your cholesterol is high, and everything needs control.
Yeah.
And the way they said I should control it is cut down on carbs entirely and start having a lot of these medicines. So, I think they prescribed me something like a 50 mcg tablet of thyroid, and just like a lot of other medicines. But when I had them for about a week, I was like, this is probably not a good idea. Like, I didn't feel good having them, and I felt like at the age of 14, you can definitely like change a lot of things just with your, diet and lifestyle. So that's what I went on to doing. I researched a lot about it. I tried to like incorporate healthy foods into my diet. I definitely cut down on carbs, but I didn't eliminate it altogether. What I started was eating healthy and eating in a more sustainable way.
Yeah.
I also cut down on dairy. I think that was a game changer for me. I cut down on a lot of gluten because at home we used to eating like rotis and thrice a day. And I incorporated more fruits into my diet. I cut down on refined sugar. I think the main change actually came about when I started living alone and I actually had the opportunity to sort of experiment with food and with what I was eating. And at the time, Cinnamon Kitchen came into being because I realized that, because it's changed my life. I think at the age of 21 or something, my periods got regular, my thyroid levels, cholesterol levels, everything was fine when I got the blood tests done without taking a single medication. Because one, I changed the way I eat. I experimented with food. I started making everything on my own. So the preservatives that I would get from store-bought stuff would not be present in my food. And I also started exercising regularly. So with exercise, it was also a journey. I started with like a little bit of stretching in yoga, and then I went on to some advanced exercises. Then I did some martial arts and some high intensity exercises. So that's what I've been doing now, and I think that's
That's nice.
really helped me. But I think it's a journey. Like it's more about what you like and what you can do. So that's why Cinnamon Kitchen came into being, because when I ate that food and when I saw that things that you get from the market are just so full of preservatives that even if they say that they're healthy, they can really mess your system up. So it's better to have something that's preservative free, that's refined sugar free, gluten free, and is and uses quality ingredients. So that's what I wanted to bring through Cinnamon Kitchen. So that's what my brand is all about. I have a bunch of spreads, cookies, nut butters that people can get, and basically ready-to-eat meals that also suit a corporate lifestyle. So even if you're on the go, you can just prepare food for yourself. And on my page, I also talk about a lot of recipes, a lot of things that you can change in your lifestyle, and a lot of other information. So my platform is, I aim to make it very holistic, and I aim to change people's relationship with food through Cinnamon Kitchen.
That's amazing. Priyasha, I think in this video, what we want to get out of, like me being a very amateur baker, I do not know how to bake, but I love cakes, but then you have maida, you have that vegetable oil and butter, and whenever I try to research for a recipe, it hardly has like whole ingredients which are friendly to you.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
So
right.
in this video, I think from on behalf of the whole community of Peaches Club India, we would like to know like how you choose your ingredients, and in case we don't have that one ingredient, what are the other alternatives that we can use? And probably in the video, guys, please keep on sharing your questions, and Priyasha can answer it for you at towards the end of the video. In the next 10 minutes and 15 minutes, we are going to cook together, and whoever has collated their ingredients through a post, please join us cooking, and we'll get started.
Sure, okay, sure. So today we're going to be making simple no-bake brownies. So as you said, you're not very familiar with baking. You don't really need to bake here. All you need to do is just blend a couple of ingredients and put it to set in the fridge, and that's it. Your brownies are made. So, and obviously this recipe uses whole ingredients. It's gluten-free, it's dairy-free. It's vegan if you want it to be vegan, and it's also extremely nutritious and delicious. So it doesn't compromise with the taste, and it also stays in your fridge for a very long time. So if you can't finish all of it at once, you can keep it for about 3 weeks or so. So you don't really have to worry about it going bad because it doesn't contain any dairy or anything that would get spoiled. So
That's
we'll dive into
fantastic.
the ingredients. Yeah, so we'll
Yep.
dive into the ingredients first. So I have with me 75 grams of almonds and 75 grams of walnuts over here. If you don't
Yeah.
have a measuring scale, you can just take half a cup of both. The idea is to have them equal. That's it. So I'm gonna just quickly. So this is my blender here. I'm just going to add it to my blender. To this, I'm going to add about 4 tablespoons of cacao powder. So this is cacao powder.
Okay.
I'm using Mason and Company cacao powder. So I think this one is the best because it's organic, it's non-alkalized. So it has more antioxidants, and it's also single origin, and this is the company based in Auroville. It's an Indian company. They do amazing chocolates as well. So also about the nuts, it's better if you soak your nuts overnight and then dry them in the oven at a really low temperature for about 20 to 25 minutes, so say at 120. It helps you digest the nuts better, but if you cannot do that, raw nuts are also fine. So yeah. So then I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of this cacao powder right here. Doesn't have to
Yeah.
be exact again. It just has to be chocolatey, and that's it. If you feel like adding more cacao powder, go for it. If you want it less, go for that as well. Then I have a tablespoon of chia seeds right here.
Okay.
So these are very rich in omega-3 fats, and it's great to add it. This is again optional, so if you don't have it, skip it. That's fine too. It doesn't really affect the taste. It's just for the nutritional value.
I
And I'm
always
going to
thought
add.
that chia seeds you only need to soak before you use them. Is
Sorry.
that true? I thought chia seeds you have to soak before you use them because
No,
they
they set
bubble up.
settings. So I think in this recipe we'll anyway be setting the brownie, so it'll puff if it has to, and in any case, like we're blitzing it, so we're not having them as full chia seeds. So I think that
Okay.
works. It's not a problem. So
Okay.
again depends. Like for some people, digesting legumes is a problem, so they tend to soak them longer, or they just can't have it, so they have to switch to other sources of protein. For other people, it's fine. So it really depends on what works for you in that case. So we're going to use some sea salt out here. So just a little bit. So just a pinch of sea salt or something to
Okay,
get
I
the
need to
body.
get my salt.
You can use any salt that you have.
I got the salt.
That's all. I'm
Okay.
just going to blend. So this is my dry ingredients. That's it. I'm just going to blend this in.
So do I have to get like a coarse paste or like a
Just a
powder?
fine paste. Just a fine paste. You have to get it powdered because
Okay.
yeah, yeah. This is
Okay.
gonna make a lot of noise.
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah. So see, this is what my paste looks like. It's just cacao, and I'll just
Okay.
show you how it's like powdery like this powder. Do you have
Hmm.
chunks in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, looks
Should I?
good. I think just a little bit more. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you able to see this? Are you able to see what it looks like?
Yeah. I think I need to do it for another phase.
The first ingredient that I used was 75 grams of almonds and 75 grams of walnuts.
Okay, I got a powdery thing.
Yeah, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're good to go. Yeah, I think that looks good. So then we're adding some pitted dates here. Okay. So I'm going to add about 8 to 10, depending upon how big my dates are and how juicy they are. So you need to use soft dates here. So anything like a Kimia or Majul would do. If you don't have soft dates, if you have something like Omani dates, just soak them in hot water for half an hour, and then they'll just get soft and then you can use them. In that case, just what happens is that your shelf life of the cookie, because of the moisture, reduces. Then you can probably keep it for a week and not 3 weeks. So I'm just going to add about 8 to 10 of these pitted kimia dates here. Just going to blend it again.
Are we supposed to get a paste like thing?
Yes, you're supposed to get a paste that you can squeeze between your palms. It'll be something like this.
Yeah.
Right. You should be able to sort of make a ball out of it.
Cool. I think I'm there.
Yeah? Then something that you can also add here is vanilla essence, but that's entirely optional. And if you have it, just use like not the vanilla artificial extract. Just try to get one of those from Sprig, which is like natural
So
vanilla
I use
extract.
this one. I find this really
So yeah,
nice.
this is nice. This is nice. I've used it a couple of times. This looks nice. Yeah.
So how many drops should I put in there?
Just 2-3 drops should be fine. About half a teaspoon.
Okay.
Yeah. You can just blend it again if you want to. Oh my God. container is that I've lined it with parchment paper. You can line it with a cling wrap or anything that you have. So you lined it with a cling wrap out there, right?
I have
Yeah.
done with the cling wrapper.
Yeah, this is just so that you can like pull it out once it's set, because we're going to set it in the fridge after.
Okay.
So I'm just going to take a spoon and transfer the mixture. Don't these smell so good?
Yeah, it smells so good. So chocolatey.
Yes, that's the aim with the brownies. So after this, see, if you can, yeah. After this, I'm just going to sort of press it down so that it sets and becomes. So it depends on what kind of thickness you want. I usually go for a quarter of an inch. So you can just
Okay.
press it down so that it becomes smooth. You can use a back of a spoon or you can use a spatula if you have a spatula. You can even do it
This
with
is
your
so
hands.
therapeutic.
That's just easier. Sorry?
I'm saying this is so therapeutic. I love doing this.
It is, and I love the way it smells. It's just, it's like clay, but like chocolate.
Hmm. So my dish is a bit bigger, so I sort of just restricted myself to half of my tray.
Yeah. Yeah, that's perfect. So this is what mine looks like right now. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to just come together.
Okay.
I'm sorry, your gluten-free crackers are the bomb. Thank you so much, Soumya. Tell me how you're liking the recipe. Do you like the recipe, Soumya? Hi, that is Priyanshi. Sorry, I can't really seem to hear at the second. But hi everybody. I hope you're liking the recipe. Please do try this and let me know how you like it. I get really excited with recipes. So, so this is it.
Yeah,
Are we there?
this
Awesome.
is how it looks to me.
Looks amazing to me. Yeah, looks
Okay.
good. Yeah. So we're just going to pop this in the fridge to set. Meanwhile, we'll prepare our chocolate ganache. Yeah?
You said fridge, right? Not freezer.
Yeah, pop it, no, just the fridge to set. And we make the chocolate ganache meanwhile. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to take another bowl. In this bowl, I'm adding 1/3 of a cup of coconut oil. So any neutral tasting coconut oil would do. You could get any organic. I use Pure and Sure. They have organic coconut oil. Their coconut products are amazing. Like their desiccated coconut sauce is really good. That's what I use for most of my recipes. And the products it's fresh, it's soft, it's juicy. Okay, so we just use coconut oil here. Sorry, I just get distracted. Yeah. Then we're going to use about 2 teaspoons of honey. You can use maple syrup or agave if you want it to be vegan, but any liquid sweetener would do. So I'm going to just add in 2 teaspoons of honey. You can add more honey if you like it sweeter. And then I'm going to add
Sorry,
2
two
tablespoons. Are you
teaspoons, right?
following? Sorry, go ahead.
Two teaspoons, right?
2 teaspoons, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of cacao powder again.
Okay. I'll have to get that again.
Okay, go get it. Hi. The more people saying hi here. Hi everybody.
Hi, everybody. I think once it goes into the fridge, we're going to talk again a lot on the balanced diet and ingredients more. So I think few minutes more, and then we'll get talking a bit more.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about something very important now, something that's actually changed my relationship with food and could really come in handy to everybody. So please stick till the end. So we're just going to mix all of this together. So this is what it looks like right now. Just mix it all together so it sort of forms a paste. You can also add sea salt to this if you want, but I'm going to add it on top of the brownies anyway, so I think then that will be a lot of sea salt. So, yeah. Sea salt, what it does is it really brings out the flavor of the chocolate. You can also add coffee if you like darker chocolate flavor, like a more intense chocolate flavor. So I've mixed this ganache, mix this, and this is what the ganache currently looks like. I'm going to pop it in the fridge. So what that will do is my coconut oil will sort of solidify and the ganache will become nice and thick so that we can spread it on the brownies.
Okay.
Yeah? So we'll just pop this in the fridge as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think it's time to answer a lot of questions from what
Yes.
people have. Uh,
I'm just gonna move this closer to myself so I can see what everybody's saying. Hi everybody. So how much coconut oil to use? You can use one measurements out here that I usually use for things. It just makes things simpler. So this is 1/3 of a cup and that's what I've used here.
okay, so somebody says that please make desserts for diabetics also. So
Sure.
what's your take? Yeah.
So see, the brownies that we've made right now, they're sweetened with dates. So dates have a lot of fiber. So the release of glucose and sugar is slow. So it depends on how much diabetes you have, but this is something that could be diabetic friendly. So otherwise you'll have to switch on to artificial sweeteners, which I don't recommend. But this could be diabetic friendly because it uses dates. You just skip on the coconut oil and you skip on the honey. Don't use those. So don't prepare the ganache, but the base itself you can use as a diabetic friendly dessert.
So somebody asked, is there any oil going in? So that's Aditya 26.
I can't see that. Is there any oil going in?
Yeah, so I think we did use coconut oil. That's the replacement of butter, I think, in the most bakery products
Yes.
that people use. It's much more friendlier version of the fat. It does not include trans fat. It will not let your LDL, that's the bad cholesterol, go up because in PCOS, there's generally like we women are higher on the bad cholesterol versus the good cholesterol and triglycerides. So coconut oil kind of helps that way. So that's something that we're using.
Yeah. Do you have a session on veg food as well? So we'll be doing a series. So we'll try to include as many recipes as possible. So just post whatever, just tell us whatever you'd like us to include, and we'll try and incorporate that in the coming session.
Okay, somebody asked, is chicken or meat good for PCOS girl, 28 years of age? Her weight is 67 kg now. So I think going plant-based myself has like I think Priyasha, you will also agree with me here. Going plant-based really helps because first it's so gut friendly. It sort of helps you detox. If you eliminate meat-based products, your gut feels much more lighter. And gut is the place where all the hormones and all the other, organs of our body are related, right? If you talk about metabolism, if you go talk about digestive system, if you talk about elimination. So gut friendly products, if you think about gut friendly products, meat does not tie really
Yeah.
well with gut. So that's why people say that going plant-based really, really helps. Priyasha, if you want to add on something there.
Yeah, so actually, you're right about what you said. It's also that the source of the meat, you know. So I
Yeah.
think what our industries, like especially our poultry industries, they just made in a way that the chicken is mass produced. A chicken's lifestyle when it comes to life, it's constantly pumped with hormones so that it lays a lot of eggs and it becomes really bulky very quickly. So once you're eating something that's been, pumped with so many things just for it to increase the weight, it's likely to be transferred to you, the same hormones, and it's not good for you. The same thing with dairy. So, for the cows, they inject them with oxytocin. So, what happens is that they give out more milk, but then again, that oxytocin is also getting passed on to you through the milk, which is leading to
That's true.
hormonal imbalance in your body. So it's also the source. I think for me, the main reason for cutting down on dairy and for cutting down on meat was that the source itself is so polluted that I know that it will harm me. With plants, you still can't do that. The hormones that they use or the pesticides and the fertilizers they use are very different. So even though there's pollution everywhere, um, the pollution and the contamination in dairy and meat is much more harmful to the human body.
And also, I think just to add on, once you start listening to your body, you will know it gives signs to you. So when you are having
Yeah.
meat-based products, your body tends to get heated up. Like
True. Very true.
I used to get these allergies, and I didn't used to know why am I getting these. And as soon as I cut dairy out of my life, I felt so good. I never had those
That's true.
allergies. So basically, it
That's true.
causes inflammation. Your body starts fighting some elements which it cannot digest. So that's why, like what Priyasha also said, going plant-based really helps.
Yeah, so when
Then
I turned vegetarian and then vegan in the middle, I thought that, because I'm not having a lot of protein, and I'm somebody who's been very interested in weightlifting from the very beginning. So I thought my strength in that portion would like really go down because I'm switching to, plant-based protein. But so long as you know how to substitute things, see, the thing with people who are eating non-veg is that they'll order chicken in every meal. And if they're not eating chicken in every meal, then they'll just probably eat a salad or they'll not know how to substitute for that protein. So that's why your strength decreases. It's not about switching to a plant-based diet. It's also about what you're eating. So you need to include enough protein in your diet, no matter if you're on a plant-based diet or you're eating meat. Also, it's very important to include variety. So even for a vegan diet, it's important to get your protein and get your carbs and get your veggies, from a variety of sources. So if you're having legumes and if you're having legumes every day, or you're having chicken and you're having chicken every day, none of that is good for your body. So you need to keep switching, you need to keep changing so that the contaminants from one particular food source don't contaminate your system. You're like having a variety of things, and your digestion is
yeah,
better, and
and
you're
one
getting more
recipe
vitamin
that
C.
I really like of yours is that pea pesto, which is full of, green peas, high on protein. So
Yes.
I feel getting just creative with the food that you have once you get into that journey, right? That's what I also tell a lot of people that I mentor, that take interest of the options that you have and you'll be surprised with the kind of things that you can make, like for yourself, like pea pesto. Nobody thinks about it, but then pea
Yeah.
is high in protein, right? And including that, like pea soup, pea protein,
Yes.
sprouting, chana salads. I mean, there's so many options when it
There are
comes
so
to
many,
it.
and I think us in India, we're very lucky to know our spices and our ingredients well, and we're used to predominantly eating veg. We know how to cook a vegetable, we know how to go about it. So those things just come in handy, for us. So if we just experiment a little more with food,
Hi, Priyasha. Did I lose you? I think we had some trouble with Priyasha. I'm going to put her back in. Please hold on. Just a second.
Hi. So I guess there was some network issue.
No
So I
problem.
see Sumaya's comment saying that she loves my stuff and my gluten-free crackers are the bomb. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hello, I'm from Delhi as well, Sumaya.
Okay, somebody asked what kind of fermented foods can PCOD people can have in their diet? Does it also include homemade pickles too? Do you want to answer that?
Go ahead, go ahead.
So I think what I have been experimenting so far with the fermented foods is that obviously you have yogurt, which is really good for your stomach, but it's not dairy free, right? And again, it might mess up with your hormones when you have already the hormone imbalance. So there are various other Indian-based recipes. One is kanji, which is really good for you. Is high on probiotics. Then there's something that I'm experimenting with is sauerkraut. It is something you just need a cabbage or a beetroot and you have to add some salt and just keep it for fermentation for 2 days or 3 days in the warm weather. And that is so full of good bacteria. It is a good pickle without an oil. So Indian based oil have originated to be so much high on oil and too much salt, which can go against the diet if you are in a hormonal imbalance state. So you can try the simple recipe of sauerkraut, which has really helped me myself. So kanji and this one is something which goes really well with our Indian meals. Priyasha, something that you want to add on there?
No, I think that really answers the question. I think fermentation is really good. You can learn a lot of fermentation at home. There's a lot of vegan fermentation that you can do, and that's actually much better. In fact, you can even ferment and make vegan yogurts. So,
Yeah.
like coconut yogurt or soy yogurt, that's good as well. But you need to get organic soy. So, otherwise, it's like no GMO and that stuff. So, it's better to use coconut or almond.
Yeah, somebody also asked, we make our own plant milk, just not able to set the curd. Can you help? I am still on my phase of experimenting the right quantity and setting the curd. I did try it with rice and chilies once, but did not get it right. I'm considering coconut milk, so as soon as I have it, I'm going to definitely share it. Somebody says, is soy milk good for PCOS? So Priyasha just highlighted that going organic, it's non-GMO is definitely GMO based is banned in India as per the current norms. But what research says about soy is that too much of soy with PCOS sort of does not go well because it mimics estrogen in your body, and we women are high in estrogen, most of us, and it could sort of disrupt the whole scene. So if you are taking soy, especially in soy sauce, we do not realize that it's so high on soy. So moderately is okay, but I would
Yes,
not
that's right.
recommend every day that you're taking soy milk. So
Yeah.
you can take it once or twice in a week, and that's about it, I would say.
Also, I have a recipe of plant-based milk on my page in the highlights. So you can check that if you want to make your own preservative-free plant-based milk. It would really come in handy and it's super quick. So just have a look at that.
Okay, somebody asked, you can try A2 milk. So I think A2 milk or a lactose free or a no fat or a skim milk, all sort of are high in casein. So they are still having that hormone that we're talking about, which might cause harm to you.
Yeah,
Priyasha,
and there was this very interesting conversation that I was seeing that day about milk being produced ethically. So, if we were to produce milk ethically without separating the calf, without injecting the cow, the milk would come up to be so expensive that nobody would actually buy it. So, whoever claims that the milk is 100% organic, I I have my doubts on that because I just feel like in the whole capitalistic setup of things, it's very difficult to profitably sell organic milk and to find the market and to do that kind of a thing. So, I mean, whoever says that the milk is organic, I'm a little not sure about that.
yeah, it's once I feel that once you start your plant-based journey, you sort of will not, your body starts to reject any
True,
animal-based
true.
products.
I
So,
used to
for
love chai. I used to love chai. Like I was somebody who had 3 cups of chai a day. But now I just cannot. Like I feel so dehydrated and my skin breaks out because and my gut doesn't feel good when I drink chai now. You can really tell the difference.
there are a lot of research which says that once you start using very hormone friendly products, I like the word hormone friendly is basically things that are very light on your stomach. They
Yes.
improve your sensitivity towards insulin, they improve your sensitivity towards your whatever taste like you have, whatever things that you get into your system, you will respond them very well. You will recognize them very well. So, for
That's
example,
true.
like for example, you shared your story. Likewise, when I started eating curd, I didn't realize that it was causing gas to me.
Yeah.
Very something very common. And when you eliminate it, it sort of comes back that okay, it's doing good to you. So it might as
Yes.
well take it away
That's
from your
true.
diet.
So do you
Uh,
have any more questions?
Prachi says that can we also have the ingredients written in written form as well? So probably yeah, after the post we can. Priyasha, what do you say? How do you wanna share this
We
with
can
our
sure
viewers?
we have the ingredients on the post that we shared. The quantities we can mention in the in the comment in the caption, so that you can just refer to that while making the. But and also we're going to put this whole thing on Nidhi's YouTube channel, PCOS Club India. So you can just see all of this with the quantities and the whole recap on our channel. And I'm hopefully going to be starting my YouTube channel soon, so it's going to be there as well.
I can't wait because I want all your recipes.
Sure. So I think now we should jump to how to plan your meals. That's something that I've been wanting to talk about. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Do we?
I'm just going to quickly give you a time check. We are on
Sure.
4:40. Already we scheduled for 4:45, but we can go for another 15 minutes.
Yes.
This video we only have 1 hour, so another 20 minutes we have to end
Sure.
this. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
So this is just gonna be 5 minutes. I have a chart with me that you should just see just to make this more interactive. So this is what I have right here. This is how you need to plan your meals. So this is basically your plate. So now the size of the plate matters a lot to begin with. You're not going to be having a huge plate. You're going to be having a small plate, a quarter plate, as they call it. That's actually the portion size of a meal that you should be having. We're not going on a war. We don't need to eat a lot of food. We're sitting at home right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't need that much food. I think we tend to overeat just to get every nutrition in our diet and treat food as the ultimate medicine and just end up overeating even if you're eating the right things. So the quantity is of utmost importance. We need to eat this. So this is a quarter plate. Just keep that in mind. So now the way we need to fill our plate is that this half portion that we see right here needs to be full of fruits and veggies. So
Yeah.
mostly veggies and some fruits. If you're like making a salad, just sprinkling some pomegranate seeds on it or some mango, that's fine. And colorful, non-starchy vegetables. So if I talk
Yeah.
about broccoli, if I talk about greens such as spinach, cabbage, that kind of stuff. So it has to be non-starchy vegetables out here. Then this this portion is protein. So any plant-based protein. This says plant-based protein. So legumes, if you're having tempeh, anything like that, tofu, this fills 25% of your plate. And the other 25% should ideally go to grains, but your carbs should be complex carbohydrates and not refined maida or suji or anything like that. It should be complex whole grains. And just remember to use one kind of grain at one time. So, people are having pasta and they're used to having the garlic bread with the pasta. Do not do that. Please don't do that. You eat one type of grain. Even when you're eating roti, don't mix roti and chawal. I would really not recommend that because then it gets difficult for your body to digest it. So if you're sticking to roti, then stick to roti for that meal. And this obviously you cannot achieve this in every meal. It's going to be difficult for you to have this exact plate, but you can know that sometimes if your carbs are a little more, then you need to substitute or make up for it in your next meal. So this is essentially a benchmark, and if you achieve this, then you're pretty much eating a balanced diet. So whenever you're eating something, whenever you're putting food on your plate, just make sure that it's in this quantity. Also, one very important tip is that you eat in the same plate every time, so that you know, or the same size of plate every time, so that you know that this is the quantity that you're eating. Usually in restaurants, what they do is they serve you these big ass plates, and then it just gets really difficult for you to know how much you're eating. You're essentially overeating always. So it's extremely important that you. So for me, you might have usually actually have this bowl right here. You would have seen me eating in this bowl. Like I always post this on my story. This is a bowl that I got for myself, and I try to plate things in. So you can see this is the size of a quarter plate essentially on the inside. And what I do is whenever I'm eating, I try to follow this method here. So I put half of the veggies and then I put some carbs and some protein here. Then I know I'm eating a balanced diet. Then another very important thing is hydration. So we tend to have a lot of sodas and we put have like just sugar laden syrups and stuff like that along with our meals. Even juices for that matter. I think juicing, if you're juicing greens because you're gonna have so many greens, it makes sense. But I don't think juicing makes sense because you're getting rid of so much fiber, which would have led to like slow release of all the sugars that the fruit has. So if you're essentially, if you're
Part of it
having
comes.
orange, yeah,
Yeah,
if you're
sorry.
having
I think.
orange, you're gonna end up having orange juice which has 4 oranges. Will you ever be able to eat 4 oranges at once? No. So just keep that in mind. You know that you're essentially getting rid of all the good stuff, all the fiber that's going to help you digest the sugars, and you're just gulping down the sugar. So juicing, unless you're juicing greens and unless you're juicing fruits that are not too high in sugar and having them in limited quantities, the quantities that you would otherwise eat, it's not good. And don't sieve it, don't throw out the pulp. So that's extremely important. So just have a glass of water. Try to have at least 4 liters of water a day. That's something that I've always done, and I think that's really helped me. So a lot of people ask me why my skin doesn't break out, and I don't get acne and stuff like that. So I never even had teenage acne because I drank a lot of water since the beginning. So I think that's really helped me.
And something and the easiest ways to do is that if you're not even having a lot of water, have water-rich foods like cucumber, like
Yes,
watermelon, especially in summer,
that's right.
like it is seasonal for summer. That means you need to have that water intake. So even if you're not
Exactly.
having water, you're pressurized to have water, at least get that from the other fruits and vegetables. And what you just
Yeah.
showed was interesting because this is the Mediterranean diet, which is as per research, shown really, really helpful for people
Yes.
who are dealing with PCOS. And in my like counseling sessions, I also explain this to my, women who I deal with, that this sort of plating really helps. And if you also include some good fat instead of, the butters and just use coconut oil or almonds and nuts and seeds, that sort of completes your whole meal in a
True.
sense.
Yes. You're right. And also, so, this is your fruit and veggies. Now, this is your meals. Now, it's also, you need to have healthy fats also in your diet. So, stuff like some avocados or, like coconut water, coconut pulp, that stuff. So, that you can have as a snack. So, like your evening snack, so your snack between your breakfast and lunch, that's where you try to incorporate that stuff. So, usually, like in the morning, what I do is I have warm water and some lemon. So for vitamin C, or I'll have my collagen in warm water. I think that gives me a lot of vitamin C and a boost in the morning, and I'll have that in the sun so that I'm also soaking vitamin D. So I think those two things are set, and it also gives you a nice head start to your day. And then like you have your breakfast in this proportion, you get some fruit for snacking in the middle of the day. So that's how you need to balance your diets. You need to plan your meals in a way that you are incorporating all of this and use this as a benchmark. So that's all about the plating method. I think our brownies would be set. You want to check? You want to
Yes,
check?
I think.
Yeah.
So mine just almost froze the coconut oil.
Yeah. So once you sort of stir it with a spoon again, it'll be fine. Or you can just leave it out till it's fine. So see, this is what's happened to mine. Mine's set like this, but I can just like scrape it off. Is this what is happening to yours too?
No, I'm looking at the ganache.
Yeah, the ganache. So that's what.
Yeah,
But
it's
still, be
liquid.
like it should be like this.
Like
Is this
this.
what yours look like? Looks like? Yeah, good enough. So, and what about your brownies? Do they look set to you?
I don't know what that means, but it looks like, yeah, a bit
So
harder.
just cut these into like small quarters, like the size, serving size of the brownie that you would want. But actually, spread the ganache first. Maybe spread the ganache first. Maybe
Yeah.
spread the ganache first. I think. I think it would be better to cut it. I wish I could. One second. I think we should definitely show this. So this is what it looks like. I'm just putting my ganache. Can you see this? I think. Does yours look similar?
Yeah, yeah, I see it.
Put my ganache. Are you done with putting the ganache?
I'm done. Looks
Yeah.
like I but
Looks good to me. Looks good to me.
awesome.
Then you just need to sprinkle. So you got some roasted walnuts or almonds. What do you have? Yeah. So just sprinkle that on top of the mixture, on top of the whole thing. So I'm just gonna.
This looks really good. I'm going to show it. This is how it turned out to be for me.
Sure. Yeah, looks good. Tilt it a little so I can see it a little more. Yeah, looks good to me. So this is what mine looks like.
Nice.
So you can just cut this into quarter, pieces, whatever you want your serving size of the brownie to be. And yeah, we're done with our brownies. Taste them for me and tell me how you like them. I'm also going to sprinkle some sea salt on top just because I like sea salt so much. Hi Arjun.
I'm going to taste it now.
Yes.
It is very yummy.
Yeah, you
I
like
like
it?
it.
I'm glad.
All of this. It's really
I'm
good.
glad.
It doesn't feel that you've not cooked it. And it's
Yeah,
so easy.
yes, it's quite fudgy and like
Yeah.
so. I'm
And I'm
cutting
so
mine
happy
right
you
now.
used all the good ingredients so that you are not in a guilt later that you are having the maida or
Yes,
butter and
they're
eggs.
grain free too, so you can this is like great for your morning coffee. You're craving something sweet, and this is basically just a bunch of nuts, so you can have it with your morning coffee.
And the dates we used, the a little bit of creaminess is there in the crust, so you feel the crunch a bit of the dates that comes as a
Yeah,
chewy thing for me. I really like and enjoy.
I like them.
So Priyasha, I think we're almost at the end of the session, and I can't begin to tell you how insightful this has been, and I'm going to
Thank
sort of
you.
work with you to do sessions. Feel free to share your, suggestion. What are the things that you would like Priyasha to teach us on this platform, and we can do these
Yeah,
more often. Write to us. You can message Priyasha or myself to come with more such sessions.
sure.
Priyasha, any message that you want to give to your community before we sign off?
I would just say eat the brownies. So Bhavya says she made them and they turned out nice. Thank you so much, Bhavya.
Okay, great. So,
Okay,
do you want to answer the
bye.
last few questions?
Sorry?
I'm saying, do you want to answer last few questions? Purva Malhotra says that, can you please share the photo of the plating setting you shared on your post? Probably, Priyasha, there is something you post on your stories, maybe. And I have also on my homepage shared this Mediterranean style of plating.
Yeah.
Probably, Priyasha, you can also share it on your story that you
I'll
talked
share
about.
a screenshot of this, like a photo of this in my story, and just take a screenshot. I'll also add it to my highlights. So yeah.
Brilliant. So thank you so much.
Okay.
It was a nice Sunday evening, friends, and see
Yes.
you again.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.